Hi, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. I'm doing some content a little late in the afternoon. I got a late start. Uh, I want to go into a little bit more proof about how these family lines go back to animals, and so a little more circumstantial evidence to add to the already existing stuff that we're getting together here. So I want to go back to one of the oldest family members that I can trace my family lineage back, and that is to Rollo, the Norman Viking. A lot of people should know who Rollo is. They had like a character in the Viking saga that they interpreted as Rollo, and I'm not too sure how close to the truth that that depiction was, but if you go back and you look at Rollo, the Randolph family comes from Rollo. And the reason why is because, like I said, King Robert's mother was married before, and that husband came from Normandy. Okay, so the Randolph family is direct descendants from these French Norman people. So Rollo, the name, and this is so funny that I got these books right here. I got these books for $1 a piece at the library. This is how the universe works. Danish grammar. Danish grammar. Okay, so it says in here, Rollo, the Old Norse name for Rollo, get this, is spelled Hrolfr. OLF, you might add. OLF means wolf. They came from wolves. They came from wolves. Kid you not. We're going to just keep adding more and more to this because these people all came from animals. We all came from animals. Part of my family line came from Mars. They were Mars refugees, and they came here. The morphinogenic form that they had was that of a wolf. They all originally came from Lyra, and they were refugees from Mars. They all had an animal depiction that some look like cats, some look like lions, some look like leopards, some look like wolves, some look like dogs. And they all have a solar system now in Sirius, where they have a dog star, and you had a lot of Lyrans. They went through Orion. See, there was a lot of hybridization. So this is why we have a lot of hybridization. But if you go back and you start looking at these old statues, like if you go back and you look at some of the very oldest statues in the world, they have one of this world mother, and she has all of these look like eggs coming all down her chest, and nobody can figure out why she has all of these on her chest. But if you look at the whole depiction, you'll see that there's a bird over her right shoulder, which means that the birds were the ones that founded everything, and that the bird is above a grail, a cup, and it has an arrow pointing down, which means that they were the original founder race. And then as you go down the statue's body, you see depictions of more animals and more animals, and that is the morphinogenic forms that came from the bird beings, because the bird beings were the first shape that came out of the primal sound field of source. And you can see a bird face if you look at some of these experiments that were done on putting snowflakes in microscopes. If you look at some of these snowflakes, you can see a set of eyes, and what looks like a duck nose in the middle. I kid you not. So it makes perfect sense that the primal sound field would produce a shape like that we just commonly call a duck or a swan. So we had all of these different shapes from these different morphinogenic fields. And at the beginning, the pre-morphinogenic forms were what dictated what the animal looked like. And we all had animal shapes in the beginning. And see, this is the big secret with our past. Our big secret with our past is that we all were animals, and that they changed our body into the image of God, right? They took away all of our animal characteristics. Now they're just hidden. And they're our ego, and we have to work them out. So, maybe this is the whole point of finding out what kind of animal that we come from, is to know what it is that we have to overcome here, that our animal totem is our ego. And it's also the characteristics of that animal spirit is our faults, maybe, and our strengths, right? In our human existence here. We still have these shadow animal aspects because we came from animals. You know, this is, we're in a material realm here. So, yeah, I mean, it was just all in progress. We started out as animals. You know, there were giants here. You know, they were the humans. They were upgraded over time. Things were turned on. Things were turned off. Things were modified. We lost our hair. You know, I mean, it makes sense. That's why I'm always cold. I'm always cold because I used to have a fur coat. Maybe I have no idea, but I mean, it makes you really think about this kind of stuff. So all of these names have animals in them, and they trace all the way back. And if you can keep tracing your family back, you will see where you come from. I'm telling you. And you know, a lot of these very old family names that come back from to this time, you'll see that they all have names that have to do with like battle. Like a lot of them mean like helmet, like Wilhelm. That means like, that's like a type of Wilhelm is like a helmet for battle. Like all of these names that go back to these time periods, they all have to do with animals or some type of fighting. So I'm wondering if these raiders, what they called raiders, you know, they changed the history to make them all look bad, obviously. If we think everybody's the bad guy, then we don't never really look. Just like nobody really reads any of the material that has to do with Nazi Germany. And if you say anything about it, then you're just labeled as a terrible person. But there's morsels to be gained in every single book that you read, whether or not the person that wrote the book was a bad person or a good person. There are clues in everything you read, morsels of truth. So you should never turn away any kind of knowledge, any kind, because you just have to read it with the correct set of eyes. It's like I'm going back and reading all this stuff now with new eyes because I've been getting updates in my sleep like every night. I'm going to be taught science. And there's a couple things that I have to do in return. I need to study a whole bunch of stuff about Berlin. That's the biggest thing, is that I need to learn about Berlin. That this is very important for some reason. Has to do with all this work, and I have to learn to play the piano. So I'm not sure what the piano has to do with it, unless that playing the piano is going to activate some part of my dormant DNA. I do come from a lot of musicians in my family, which is another thing which is interesting, because Apollo, they always depict Apollo with music. And, you know, let's talk about the wolf howl. The wolf howl. Lots of singers in my family. I'm not a very good singer. But you know what? I also have problems with my thyroid. And so my thyroid goes back in my family history of not having a voice, not being able to speak their truth. You know, I've had a lot of family members that have grown up in religious indoctrination and then in the political arena. So we've had a whole bunch of generations of people never getting to speak their truth. So this has been a problem. So this has caused a problem with thyroid, and then not being able to express their love causes problems with the heart. And so we're talking about different dimensions. And so this is something I'm really interested in exploring. But we've got a lot of animal people that lived all around the Levant, that lived all around the Mediterranean Sea, all around the Aegean Sea, and that area that's just to the right of Italy, where the heel of the boot is, and that whole area up in the Aegean Sea. You had a lot of dog people that were living there, a lot of dog people. And then you also have, you have the horse people, that turned into the Byzantine Empire. These were like, and I think a lot of modern day Russians come from these horse people. I do. And a lot of German people do too. Like I was saying, Hughes men, like even Eisenhower, I think that's a horse name. You come from a horse family. And, these are old bloodlines. These are old bloodlines that come back from Hyperborea. And a lot of these families, these people are starting to find out where they come from. They're starting to wake up and realize, hey, there's a reason that I have this gene pattern. I'm here right now because I'm supposed to be upholding my family's legacy. And we're supposed to be revealing the true history of the planet, the true history of the world. You need to go back and find where you come from, because I guarantee you that there's a reason that you come from where you come from, because you have a story that you need to deliver for your ancestors. And it's so important. It's so important for us to be able to go into a better future when we understand what we're doing here and where we came from. So, you know, I think we really need to start opening our mind up to the fact that history is a lot more than what we've ever been told, and that it may be even more crazy than what you could possibly think. I mean, just like a lot of people that have these experiences with extraterrestrials or interdimensional beings, like when you think that it's almost so, I don't even know the word, like it's so outrageous, some of the stuff, the dialogue, the the things that you see, like it's so outrageous that you think that you're just crazy. You really do. You think you're just crazy because you think, okay, that can't be real. That can't be real that I'm seeing a animal human hybrid. That can't be real that I'm seeing a bug that is like 6 foot tall in my kitchen. You know, you can't wrap your mind around it because it seems like it's so crazy. And I don't know, in a way, I'm almost thinking that it's planned that way. It's planned that way because if people don't have the experiences for themselves, they think that you're out of your mind. And I'm at this point in time where I've gotten to, I've been through so many books, and that I'm discovering so many things that I have a hard time relating to people because people think I'm absolutely batshit crazy. They think I'm batshit crazy. But I'm telling you, this stuff makes sense. This stuff makes sense. And we got to open our minds. We got to open our minds because there's a lot more to this whole thing with cryptids and everything else. These cryptids they've always been here. They've been here since the beginning. They've just been hiding because they're our guardians. They're our guardians. Some of them are stuck in polarity. I think they got so frustrated because they just felt like that they got left behind. Who knows? Who knows? So with that, I'm going to end this video, but I just find it interesting. It's Rollo is a wolf man. He's a wolf man. You know, and he was so big because he had Nephilim genetics. He was so big he couldn't even ride a horse. He had to walk. They called him the walker because he was so big and heavy that a horse couldn't really hold him. He was just a huge guy. And I believe that because I got some huge people in my family. Even the women were big. My grandmother was like almost 6 foot tall. And all of her sisters were too. And they were big women, like over 250 pounds. You know, they were all big women. And they were strong women. They were not like just sloppy big women. These were like big monstrous women. Big monstrous women, like linebacker women. But I mean, this is the way that my family is. It's just a lot of big family members, and they were born really big at birth. And you know, we have a lot of Rh negative in our family bloodline, and I think that that has to do with us being animal hybrids. I really do. I really do. And I'm going to keep digging. I'm going to keep digging. So I'd like to hear what you have to say, and any input. Let's have some input here, and don't forget to like the channel and share, so we can build our audience here, so we can have more participation. Because you know, we got to put all of our minds together and come up with some ideas here, and we're going to solve all this together. We're going to solve all this together. So with that, don't forget to go outside today before the sun goes in and give thanks to our Heavenly Father and our Divine Mother, Mother Earth. Thanks for watching Sacred Enzyme, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.